Different organic compounds have different structures. How do those different structures affect the physical properties? For instance, the boiling point, melting point, and vapor pressure. Between butane and octane, which one will have a higher boiling point, melting point, and vapor pressure? Those are the type of questions we are going to be looking at from this point on. First of all, let's define the boiling point. And the definition I've provided here is the same exact definition you're supposed to state in the final exam word for word. So boiling point is the temperature at which the vapor pressure of a substance equals atmospheric pressure. Is the temperature at which the vapor pressure of a substance equals atmospheric pressure. While melting point, at the other hand, is the temperature at which the solid and liquid phases of a substance are at equilibrium. The temperature at which the solid and liquid phases of a substance are at equilibrium. And lastly, the vapor pressure. It is the pressure exerted by a vapor at equilibrium with its liquid in a closed system. So those are the physical properties we are interested in. We will talk about how the chain length affect the physical properties, how the branching affect the physical properties, and lastly, how the functional group affect the physical properties. So let's start with the chain length, okay? So we are interested in the relationship between boiling point, melting point, viscosity, vapor pressure, and chain length. So let's go ahead and take a look at what the theory is saying. When the chain length increases, the surface area increases, and that increases the strength of the intermolecular forces. From grade 11, you should know that if the intermolecular forces increases, then we will have an increase at the boiling point, melting point, and viscosity, but the vapor pressure will decrease. So that is the relationship between chain length and our physical properties. As the chain length increases, the surface area increases, the strength of the intermolecular increases, and boiling point, melting point, and viscosity increases, but the vapor pressure decreases. Let's take a look at the example we have. We start with propane. You can see that the boiling point of propane is minus 42 degrees Celsius. And let's compare it with butane. The boiling point of butane is minus 0.5 degrees Celsius. Obviously, minus 0.5 degrees Celsius is greater than minus 42 degrees Celsius, showing us that as the chain length increases, we have an increase in boiling point. Butane has a longer chain length compared to propane, and the same is true when we compare butane and pentane. The boiling point of pentane is 36 degrees Celsius, which is clearly greater than that of butane. As the chain length increases, the surface area increases. There will be an increase in the intermolecular force. Boiling point, melting point, and viscosity will increase, but the vapor pressure will actually decrease. That is the relationship between chain length and our physical properties. Let's go ahead and take a look at branching. Increase in branching decreases the surface area, decreasing the strength of the intermolecular forces. That will lead to a decrease in the boiling point, melting point, and viscosity, but an increase in the vapor pressure. So as the branching increases, the intermolecular forces weaken, and that will lead to lower boiling point and higher vapor pressure. Let's go ahead and look at the examples we have. 2.2 dimethyl propane. We're comparing that with 2-methyl butane. Obviously, these two compounds are isomers of each other. We have the same number of carbons, we have the same molecular formula, but different structural formula. But 2.2 dimethyl propane is more branched compared to 2-methyl butane. You can see, even if you just take a look at the structure here. Now let's take a look at the boiling point. The boiling point of 2.2 dimethyl propane is 10 degrees Celsius, while that of 2-methylbutane is 30 degrees Celsius. So you can see, as the branching decreases, the intermolecular forces increases, right? Because 2-methylbutane is less branched. We only have one branch. It is less branched, and it has stronger intermolecular forces and higher boiling point as a consequence. And lastly, we can compare 2-methylbutane with just pentane. In pentane, there's no branching. Now let's take a look at the boiling point. The boiling point of pentane is 36 degrees Celsius, which is clearly greater than the boiling point of 2-methylbutane. Again, showing that when you increase the branching, the intermolecular forces will be weak. You can see that the intermolecular forces of 2-methylbutane are weaker than that of pentane because of an increase in branching. So when you phrase your answers in the final exam with regards to branching, it's either you can state your answer in terms of increasing branching, or you can state your answer in terms of decreasing branching. But this is what we're saying. An increase in branching leads to the strength of intermolecular forces decreasing, while a decrease in branching leads to an increase in the strength of the intermolecular forces. That is essentially the idea you need to wrap your head around. So we touched on chain length and physical properties, branching and physical properties. And now lastly, we need to take a look at the relationship between the functional group and the physical properties. So we have pentane, butanol, and butane 1-ol. So look at the boiling point of pentane. It's 36 degrees Celsius, and that of butanol is 76 degrees Celsius. So why is the boiling point of butanol way higher than that of pentane, even though pentane has the longer chain length? Why is that the case? That is because pentane and butanol have different functional groups. So let's go ahead and take a look at the homologous series we have and the functional groups they possess. We have divided this into three. We have alkane, alkenes, and alkynes, followed by aldehydes, ketones, and haloalkanes, and lastly, alcohols and carboxylic acids. We don't talk about esters when it comes to structure and physical properties. We just talk about these 8 homologous series we have in front of us. So all alkanes, alkenes, and alkynes possess London forces. We call alkane, alkenes, and alkynes hydrocarbons, by the way. They only consist of carbon and hydrogen only. So they possess London forces. Of all our intermolecular forces we're going to talk about here, London forces are the weakest. So if you're comparing alkanes and aldehydes, aldehydes are going to have stronger intermolecular forces. If you're comparing alkenes and haloalkanes will have stronger intermolecular forces because London forces is the weakest. And that's what alkanes, alkenes, and alkynes possesses, right? But then if you were to compare an alkane with another alkane, then we would have to look at the chain length or the branching because they have the same functional group, right? So the explanation, you can see here that the weakest intermolecular forces is London forces. You can see it here. And then the least amount of energy is required to break this intermolecular force. If it's weak, obviously, it's going to require less energy to overcome the intermolecular force. And after that, we have aldehydes, ketones, and haloalkanes. Not only do they possess the London forces, they also possess dipole-dipole forces. This is one thing that a lot of people, they usually don't realize. In aldehydes, ketones, and haloalkanes, we actually do have London forces. But then on top of London forces, we have dipole-dipole forces, which are stronger than the London forces, leading to aldehydes, ketones, and haloalkanes having stronger intermolecular forces compared to hydrocarbons, alkanes, alkenes, and alkynes. So dipole-dipole forces are stronger than London forces, but weaker than hydrogen bond. We're going to talk about that later on. But right now, the point I just want to make is that dipole forces are stronger than London forces. So more energy will be required to overcome dipole forces compared to London forces. And lastly, we're going to look at alcohols and carboxylic acids. Alcohols and carboxylic acid, they possess London forces, dipole forces, and hydrogen bonds. This hydrogen bond is the strongest. It is stronger than London forces and dipole forces. This will lead to alcohols and carboxylic acids having the strongest intermolecular forces. And then the most amount of energy will be required to break these intermolecular forces in carboxylic acids and alcohols. So that's our homologous series and their functional groups. But let's just touch on alcohol and carboxylic acid for the time being. The intermolecular forces in carboxylic acids, well, let me say the hydrogen bond in carboxylic acid is stronger than that in alcohol. That is because carboxylic acids have 2 sites of hydrogen bonding, while alcohols only have 1 site of hydrogen bonding. So if you were to compare butanol and butanoic acid would have a higher boiling point because carboxylic acids have 2 sites of hydrogen bonding compared to alcohols with only 1 site of hydrogen bonding. Right, so that is functional group and physical properties. Now let's go ahead and see how we phrase our answers when we talk about the relationship between functional group and physical properties. Increasing polarity of functional group increases the strength of the intermolecular forces, increasing boiling point, melting point, and viscosity, but decreasing the vapor pressure. Right. Another way of phrasing when you're answering these questions, let's say we have a question that is saying, why is the boiling point of butane-1-ol higher than that of butanol? How would you phrase your answer in that question? You would say that alcohol consists of hydrogen bonding, which is stronger than dipole forces in aldehydes. So that will lead to alcohols having an increase in the strength of intermolecular forces. More energy required to overcome the intermolecular forces, increasing the boiling point, melting point, viscosity, but leading to a lower vapor pressure.